Amukira geithi mwiroreri wa GTN TV reketie kwihanda wega thaa mugwanja cia muthenya tukomithie maria manathi na mbere kuhanika goko bururi-ini na nginyagia konene na Kenya na no gikorwo gitikira kunyitanira na ithuĩ kũrĩa ng'enda-inĩ citũ cia ũkinyanĩria mwena wa Facebook GTN TV Digital, mwena wa YouTube GTN Digital TV. Twire urerorera uri mwena ũrĩkũ kunyita ũgeni oro rĩngĩ ũmũthĩ arĩ nĩ tarĩki 21 mweri wa 11 mwaka wa 2025 kunyita ugeni oro rĩngĩ. Rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Schneider Chege. Kigeranio kia muthia wa mathomo ma thekondarĩ gĩa KCSE mwaka wa 2025 nĩgĩtirihetwo ũmũthĩ. Igeranio ici nĩ iria ciambĩrĩirie ciumia ithatũ hetũku ireketie ũmũthĩ arutwo a gĩthomo gĩa physics magĩikagĩrĩra kigeranio marĩ a muthia. Kũringana na Minister wa Gĩthomo Julius Ogamba, augĩte rĩu mĩhang'o ya ũmaki wa igeranio ici ũgũkorwo ũkĩambĩrĩria orĩo, gũkũ akiuga namo maumĩrĩra ma KJSEA namo magakorwo makĩrekererio tarĩki 11 mweri ũkĩte wa Dithemba. Oho Ogamba no atarĩirie cigimainie na gũkĩra kwa irathi cia grade 9 nginyagia grade 10, akiuga nĩ meharĩirie.
That we issued recently, and the students from the month of July have been piloted, have been informed of how to select, and in fact they have already done the selections. The selection will be based on the competency of the student, the marks that they've gotten, the assessments that have been done. And remember, this particular examination had 60%. Previously, what they have done through their study in junior school would be amounting to 40, will account for 40%. So there is a placement criteria that has already been developed and which has been explained to the students and which they use to select the schools depending on their strength and their pathways. Placements will also depend on the available spaces in those schools. Some schools will be providing the 3 pathways, other schools will provide the 2 pathways. So that is how it's being done, and once we start the placement where students need to change or transfer, there is room to do that, and that discussion will be available 2 weeks or so to ensure that whatever changes that need to be done is that. Remember, this is the first transition, so being the first transition, it will have a few teething problems, but our teams are already been trained and they are available to ensure that those issues are resolved to the benefit and to the advantage of the student. So it's to determine the number of learners we have in our institutions, and that process has been completed. The report is being compiled today as we speak. We should be able to release it next week. Once we have these numbers, we then position for capitation early based on the numbers that we have, because the policy is clear. If you have students in high school, the amount should be 22,240. In junior school is 15,000, and in primary is 1,540. So once we submit this early, then we will be able to receive the capitation early, so that the students, once the schools open, the capitation will already be in place. We had a challenge before because the numbers were not clear, but now we have cleaned our data and we have the correct numbers of the students in primary, junior and senior school, which we are going to use to rely on to make the position for the capitation. And that is going to be done as early as next week, so that by the time schools open, the capitation will be in schools. Those are some of the things we are working very closely with National Treasury to ensure that we avoid those delays where capitation comes.
Tũgĩthiĩ na mbere, mũtongoria wa bũrũri William Ruto nĩekĩrĩte kĩrore mawatho mangĩ arĩ nĩ hamwe na nyongerera ya kĩgĩna kũrĩ kaunti wa mwaka wa 2025, ũgarũrũku wa watho wa kĩgĩna kĩa thoko wa mwaka wa 2025 gatagatĩ ka ingĩ thingira-inĩ wa iregi. Watho ũyũ wa nyongerera ya kĩgĩna gĩa kaunti ũkĩendekithia nyongerera ya kĩgĩna kĩa mũigana wa ciringi bilioni 70.6 kũrĩ kaunti mwaka-inĩ wa kĩgĩna wa 2025 nginyagia mwaka wa 2026. President augĩte kũhĩtũkio kwa mawatho maya nĩ gũtigĩrĩra ũtongoria mwega, ũigĩrĩrĩki na ũkinyanĩria mwega wa ũtungata kũrĩ mũingĩ.
A report on the funds actually transferred to the counties. Your Excellency, I'll be honored to present the bill.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, I have
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I have the instructions of the Speaker of the National Assembly to place before you 3 vellum copies for your assent. The first one is the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, which was a bill that was introduced in the National Assembly by the leader of Majority Party, having gone through the Cabinet. That bill, Your Excellency, is one of those that the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury undertook to bring to Parliament when he was reading the budget in June last year.
Correct.
The bill, Your Excellency, is one of those that is implementing the objectives of the government and Parliament to make doing business in Kenya.
Wagago gicigo-inĩ kĩa ũmbunge kĩa Mbeere North County-inĩ ya Embu arĩ nĩ ũndũ wa ithurano nini iria itanyĩtwo kũhanĩka tarĩki 27 gũkĩrĩkana atĩ kamĩtĩ ya ithurano na mĩhaka IEBC itanyĩtwo kũhũthĩra andĩkithia a kura a mwaka wa 2017 na ũguo kũgirĩrĩria makiri ma andũ arĩa meyandĩkithĩtie gũikia kura thutha-inĩ ũcio. Mũmbunge wa tene wa bunge ya kana mũnene wa watho Justin Muturi, ũrĩa warĩ mũnene wa watho Justin Muturi, nĩ aheanĩte mũkaana kũrĩ kamĩtĩ ĩno nĩ kĩrĩa augĩte nĩ mũbango wa kũrega kũhe mũingĩ wendi wao wa gũthura mũtongoria wao, akiuga atĩ kamĩtĩ ĩno nĩ ĩkuoerwo ikinya rĩa kĩwatho angĩkorwo andũ nĩ makaga marĩtwa mao mũthenya ũcio wa ithurano nini.
Watu wanaeneza uvumi ya kwamba mimi niko ati project ya serikali. Una project ya serikali inaweza ambia Kasongo aende? Hapana. Kwa hivyo hiyo uvumi inaenezwa na watu wa DP. Ambia Gachagua na JB Muturi ili wameshindwa kufanyia Karishi campaign, waachane na Mbowe. Mbowe yeye hayuko kwa serikali na siwezi kuwa kwa serikali. Moses Kuria hayuko kwa serikali. Mimi nafanya kampeni yangu kivyangu. Niko karategwa. Na ninataka niwaambie hao watu nimewajaza uoga. Sababu Karishi alishindwa kufanya kazi Mumeje. Niko karategwa. Hii boarding station tuko hapa ndio Karishi atapigia kura. Kunaitwa Ndutori. Si ameshindwa na kazi? Sasa wamefikiria ati kusema wako one term ndio watu watawapenda. Tunataka one term na kazi ile mtu amevaa.
Nyinyi watu wa IEBC tunataka kuwatahadharisha na kuwaonye, huo mpango mko nao wa kutumia register ile ya zamani ya 2017 ndio hao wananchi wenye wamejiandikisha mwaka wa 2022 wasipie kura. Tunataka kuwatahadharisha, mtu akija kupiga kura kituo chochote akute jina lake aliko. Nyinyi watu wa IEBC, presiding officers, returning officer na commissioners, nyinyi we are going to hold you responsible and accountable. Hiyo mkono mlikuwa mnapanga tumeijua, na ndio sababu huku mmemwaga polisi wamevaa nguo za raia. Asijua kuja kutisha kina mama wakienda kupiga kura. Tunataka kuwaonya. Hapa ni mbele. Mtu ambaye hana kura ya hapa, ule tutakuta kwa njia akienda kumangamanga hapo. Vijana hawa watatengeneza, wataonyesha nyinyi chamka na kuni. Na tunataka mtoe ile register ya wapigaji kura ya 2022 mapema, ndio tuhakikishe kwamba huo ukora mumekomesha.
Maugare keboi keboi wacha tuone kwa mkono. Keboi. Menda kuburubio na twauga. Wogo
atongoria a ũgima wa mwĩrĩ wa mũingĩ mwena wa Imenti South magitongorio ni afitha wa sub-county niwe Karen Karimi manyitanĩire na kambuni cia community health promoters na Nkubu Town Cleaners nĩguo kũnyitanĩra mũbango-inĩ mũnene wa ũtheru taũni-inĩ ya Nkubu. Mũbango ũyũ ũrongoreirio kũrehe ũmenyo wa bata wa mĩtugo mĩega ya ũgima wa mwĩrĩ na ũgitĩri wa mĩrimũ makĩria harĩ kũrũa na mĩrimũ ta ya cancer ũrĩa ũkoretwo ũkĩongerereka na njĩra nene kaunti-inĩ ya Meru mĩaka-inĩ ya ica ikuhĩ.
Karen Karimi, Sub-County Public Health Officer Imenti South. Siku ya leo tumekuja kusherehekea One Health, mahali tunaungana department mbalimbali kuhakikisha watu wetu wamepata afya mzuri na hata the environment tuifanye ikuwe safi. Hii siku tumekuja kufunza watu umuhimu wa kuhifadhi uchafu wetu. Tunaomba watu wetu wasitupe uchafu ovyo ovyo. Tunawaomba wakuwe na pahali wanaweza weka hiyo uchafu, ndio wale wenye wanasafisha mji wakikuja wanaweza okota hiyo uchafu kwa urahisi na tusichafue mji wetu. Hii mji ni yetu, ni tauni yetu. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tuitunze juu sisi wote inatufaa. Wakaazi wa Mkobo juu watakunywa hiyo maji na hiyo maji itakuwa imechafuka.
Kwa majina naitwa Ndamia Kinoti, community health promoter chairman wa Nkwene, na wazii watu wote wa market yetu ya Nkobo. Makaratasi ya nylon tunatumia, tuachana na makaratasi ya nylon, maana ndio yanachangia kansa hii tauni yetu.
Kuna hawa watu wanatumia makaratasi kuuza chakula na tumblers wa kuuza kahawa. Hao watu wanatumia hizo vitu wanazitupa anyhow. Tuko na hiyo challenge ya kuziokota. Alafu kuna hawa watu wana watoto. Hizi diapers tunatumia kutake care watoto. Tunaomba muwe mnapaki hizo vitu kwa mangunia ama mnaziweka venye zitachukuliwa kama hazijamwagwa chini. Unaenda unaweka mari ziko supposed kuwa zimewekwa, sio kwenda kumwaga chini. Alafu kitu kingine, kuna hao watu wanaokota scrappers. Hao watu wanatusumbua sana. Tukipanga takataka zetu kabla zikujiwa wanamwaga. Tunafanya kazi ya kurudia.
Mimi naitwa Doreen, supervisor Nkobo Town, na tumefanya town siku ya leo ikuwe clean na tunataka kumaintain ikuwe clean. Na hii makaratasi ya polythene paper watu waweke different, na hii ingine ya chakula waweke different. Ya hii ingine kama ya leftover ya melon inaweza kuwa vitu inaweka borea, na hii makaratasi tushome yote na town itakuwa clean.
Na riboti ĩyo gakĩamba gũtuĩka mweke tũkorwo tũgĩikirie ndũgathi kũraya, tũracokereria na riboti ingĩ ona makĩria.
RBG Engineering Limited is an engineering company that specializes in fabrication and forming projects involving stainless steel, mild steel, and aluminum, and is committed to quality, reliability, and cutting-edge technology. Our services include metal folding, metal cutting, architectural steelwork, on-site services, while ensuring we collaborate with our clients from the initial idea stage, developing the concepts and translating them into computer-aided designs. For more information, contact 0738 123 123 or visit our offices in Kingongo, opposite Shell Petrol Station along the Nyeri-Nyahururu Highway. RBG Engineering Limited, building the future.
Rĩu ndũgatangĩke rĩngĩ ũkĩũria nĩkũ ũngĩgũra indo njega cia nyũmba na ofici-inĩ cio furnitures na home decors na bei ĩtagũkũgũmia tondũ Golden Wing Furniture nĩ ithuĩ endia ngũthi a furnitures cia kuma nja wa bũrũri. Tũkwendagĩria indo ta coffee tables, dining tables, office chairs, conference chairs, waiting chairs, kids desks, shoe racks, TV stands na ingĩ nyingĩ. Oho nĩ tũrĩ na indo marirũ cia kũgemia nyumba yaku kana ofisi ta mahũa magemu, ici cia mwanya cia portraits ona mĩgeka ya kwendeka. Tucerere ũmũthĩ Nyeri taũni nyũmba-inĩ ya Nyeri Shopping Complex barabara-inĩ ya Kimathi Road, na kuohoro makĩria no ũtũmĩrĩre thimũ kũhĩtũkĩra 0718 588 062. Happy holidays kuma gũkũ kwa Golden Wing Furniture, njorua cia furnitures kuma nja wa bũrũri.
Mchezo ya tatu niliabiririwa na rafiki yangu, nikaanza kucheza nikieka 10, 20, tukapanda hadi tukafikisha 100. Siku moja nikiwa nimeketi hapa nikapigiwa simu nikaambiwa nimeshinda tuktuk. Na nilifurahi. Sasa hasina stress ya kuenda Marigiti ati kubebereza kifikifi na migogoteni zinibebe vitu, hapana. Siku hizi ni tuktuk kangu kanaenda kanafanya kazi, hata saa hii ndio dereva amefikisha. Bora ushikisha vitu kwanza tuweke stoko mzuri, hadi nafanya deliveries kwa customers. Sasa hata wewe kama mwanabiashara unaweza jishidia. Kwa hivyo beba na tatu.
Nenda kwa M-Pesa, chagua paybill number 150 chagua namba zako 3 za bahati kati ya 0 na 9 ukifuatanisha na neno hota. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 10 hadi shilingi 1000 na ujaze mfuko na chapa kila nusu saa.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Mambo vipi my fans? Tunasema kicheko ni dawa. Na sasa GTN TV tunakuletea GTN mtaani. Tutakuwa unakuja hapo mtaani kwako, tunaulizana maswali, tongue twisters, chemsha bongo. Dania na kizungu inaitwaje?
Hiyo itanichenga kidogo.
Bila kusahau intelligent meme. Huwa tunaekelea food kwa tebo, juu huwa tunaimeza. Tebo, meza tebo. Let's do this.
Siko sure Juma ni mwangu wa kizungu hakunieleza hiyo.
Brickman Limited nĩ makurehire broti ire handũ prime na cia thogora wa mũhuko waku mena ngũrani gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ kũrĩa wĩriragĩria kũgũra. Matu thĩinĩ wa Zawadi Gardens broti no ciringi 199. Kangundo Road Kantafu broti marakwenderia na ciringi 375 peke yake. Na Kujuja Farm hakuhĩ na Athi Shopping Center broti no ciringi 799. Title deeds ire ready na site visit nĩ free. Ũhoro makĩria macerere Ruiru Town, Greek Towers, second floor, S2 ginyagia F12, kana uhure thimo namba 0746 888 111. Pata ploti, pata title na Brickman Limited.
Nĩ ngatho nĩ gũthiĩ na mbere na kwĩrorera GTN TV. Tũgĩthiĩ na mbere, mũtongoria wa bũrũri William Ruto nĩ atongoretie kana nĩ atarĩirie mũbango wake wa gukinyaniria bururi wa Kenya kuma bururi urakura ginyagia bururi ugashirite. Akieria hindi ya cikaro ciake gikaro giake gia gatatu hari bururi gutariria maria thirikari yake kinyanirie. President anyururitie ng'etheri ake akiuga ake ni uhotekeku wa ukinyaniria wa mubango uyu, akiuga uyu ni undu ungihanika ta uria gitonga wa ndwiri aratariria.
Ndomereri yake president agitariria maundu kiherie maria thirikari yake ihotete gukinyaniria ihinda ria miaka 3 mihituku. President haha akioya mweke wa gutetera mubango wake wa kiria akoretwo kiuga ni gutigira ati bururi wa Kenya ni uma gikiro kia mabũrũri maria marakura gigia bururi urikitie kugacira. President ateteire miaka 3 iria akoretwo utongoria-ini ari muthingi uria akoretwo agithondeka, kiuga ni njira-ini ya gutigirira ati bururi wa Kenya waingira gikiro kia mabũrũri ta ma Singapore, South Korea, Malaysia gatagati ka magi.
Countries that at independence were our peers in nearly every measurable way. They had no extraordinary resources. They were not superhuman. They simply had the courage to make bold, disciplined, deliberate choices. They invested in their people, demanded excellence, and refused to be trapped in the limitations of their circumstances. They refused to make peace with mediocrity. Today, they stand as first world economies. If they could rise, so can Kenya. It can be done. Let me repeat. It can be done.
Amwe na uguo president agikinyiriria murugamo wa kuga ati kuri hindi ifatiraga gukinyukia makinya marumu ni gutigira ati ugashiru ni wakinyanira.
I will set out the strategic choices, the reforms we will deepen, the sectors we will unlock, and the investments we will prioritize to move Kenya to the next level. I say all this not as a personal badge of honor, but as a recognition of what we have achieved together. The Kenyan people, the leadership in all arms of government, and across all political formations.
O president agitetera kigina kia mubango wa infrastructure fund akiuga ni gutethiriria na njira nene ukinyaniria wa tabarira akihirie.
Last 3 years have not been easy. We have agreed, sometimes disagreed, and at times those disagreements have carried great cost. We have compromised, we have confronted hard truths, and we have endured storms none of us invited. But we all take comfort that it has not been for nothing, for this is how far we have come.
Na mubango uyu wa president kuga ati bururi wa Kenya awerekeire gutigira ati no wakinyira gikiro kia bururi ugashirite ukoretwo gitungio no regani munene makiria ni mungithaniro.
At a time like this in 2022, Kenya was in distress. Inflation had soared almost to double digits. A fuel shortage threatened to paralyze our economy as oil marketers struggled to access dollars. The shilling was in free fall. Foreign reserves had hit historic lows. Debt service consumed more than half of our revenues. Confidence, both local and foreign, had waned. International analysts warned that it was no longer a question of if, but when Kenya would default. Within that context, we acted. We restored fiscal discipline. We eliminated wasteful subsidies.
Haruni Hajitin TV Jitau Gitonga Wadwiri.
And I thank you for your attention. God bless you, and God bless our great country, Kenya.
Thukuru wa gĩbũrũri wa Michuki National Polytechnic nĩũrĩkĩtie gwĩkĩranĩra ngirimiti na thukuru wa kothi cia moko wa Moscow Polytechnic University Russia, kũrĩa arutwo a Michuki marĩthomithagio rũthiomi rwa Russia kwa ihinda rĩa mĩeri 9. Ngirimiti ĩno ĩkinyanĩirio gũhĩtũkĩra mũikarĩri wa gĩkundi gĩtarĩ gĩa gĩthirikari kĩa Pathway to Russia, ta ũrĩa Amos Kamenyi aratarĩria.
Thukuru-inĩ wa kĩbũrũri wa kothi cia moko wa Michuki National Polytechnic nĩkuo ngirimiti ĩno ĩkĩranĩirwo gatagatĩ ga thukuru wa Michuki National Polytechnic na thukuru wa Moscow Polytechnic University wa Russia. Mwarimũ mũnene wa Michuki National Polytechnic Anibogo agĩtarĩria bata wa arutwo gũthoma rũthiomi rwa Russia.
Nĩ gũkorwo atĩ ciana iria igũhota gũthoma language iyo ya Russia, wona mathiĩ Russia nĩ makũhota kũheo kamweke nginya ka what we call a study work visa, magakũhota kũruta wĩra makĩthomaga, na wona maruta wĩra magĩthomaga makũhota gũ-subsidize kana kũnyihanyihia mbeca cia matũmĩri iria mangĩhota gũtũmĩrwo nĩ aciari, makahota gwĩthũkũmĩra o ene. Na kuma hau wona marĩkia kothi, ikorwo nĩ kothi ya mĩaka 4 arĩa marathiĩ gwĩka degrees, kana ikorwo nĩ arĩa marĩkĩtie makothi marenda gũthiĩ kũruta wĩra kũu nja thĩinĩ wa bũrũri ũcio wa Russia, certificate icio nĩ igũkorwo ikĩmahingũrĩra mĩrango thĩinĩ wa mabũrũri mothe marĩa makoragwo makĩaria Russian.
Mathoma maya marĩthomithagĩrio thukuru-inĩ wa Michuki kwa ihinda rĩa mĩeri 9.
Here we are in Michuki National Polytechnic, and we are starting a new course of Russian language that will help them to prepare for university for 9 months.
Mũmbunge wa Kangema Peter Irũngũ Kĩhũngi akiuga arutwo arĩa megũthoma rũthiomi rwa Russia no mahote kũiyũkia mĩeke ya mawĩra mabũrũri marĩa mahũthagĩra rũthiomi rwa Russia. Akĩranĩra arutwo arĩa megũthoma rũthiomi rwa Russia nĩ makũrĩhwo ciringi 50,000 o mwaka kũhĩtũkia kĩgĩna kĩa ũkũria wa matũũra gĩa Kangema nĩkĩo GCDF.
Ũmũthĩ tũcamanĩtie haha tũnyitanĩire na Moscow Polytechnic University ĩrĩa tũrapatina nayo na Michuki National Polytechnic nĩ ũndũ wa gũthomithagia ciana iria ingĩenda gũthiĩ gũthomera Russia. Kosi ĩmwe mathomaga mwaka wa mbere ya preliminaries ya understand language na maũndũ marĩa magũikara Russia na mĩikarĩre ya kũrĩa na culture. No maũndũ macio mothe marĩthomagĩra ha Michuki National Polytechnic at only 55,000. Na marĩkia gũthoma ciana icio ciathiĩ gũthomera Russia. Russia ina very accommodative environment, ciana gwa gũikara nĩ very cheap, nĩ magũka matarĩrio gũikara nĩ mara-accommodatwo. Ciana igĩthomera Russia nĩ irĩkoragwo na opportunity ya gũthoma na kũruta wĩra.
Mũikarĩri gĩtĩ wa gĩkundi gĩtarĩ gĩa gĩthirikari gĩa Pathway to Russia Nisenmenova akĩranĩra thukuru wa Michuki National Polytechnic nĩ ũkũgunĩka na mwarimũ wa rũthiomi rwa Russia gatagatĩ ka maũndũ mangĩ.
As an organization, I provide a Russian teacher, a native speaker, and also we are going to equip Russian classroom up to Russian standards, modern standards, including such facilities as smart board and whatever needed for their studies. So to show that here in Kangema they can study a foreign language comfortably and at the level they could have studied it out there in Russia.
GTN TV kuma kaunti-inĩ ya Murang'a, rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Amos Kamenyi.
Na riboti ĩyo ya Amos Kamenyi nĩ ĩragĩtwĩkĩrĩra gaturumo gĩkũnjo-inĩ kĩa GTN 81 mangĩrona cihanda thaa 1 na thaa 3 gĩkũnjo-inĩ kĩa mũtambũrũko thaa 1 na thaa 3. Thiĩ na mbere na kũrorera GTN TV nginyagia mũthenya ũngĩ kwendithĩria mĩaraho mĩega, tidie thayũ na ũrĩmi gũkumia. Rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Schneider Chege.